This video will prove that even when you're hunting for those impossible to find diecast cars, lightning can not only strike once, but twice. Hey guys, I'm Rick Marrone, and today on the Model Car Vault, we're going to get down and dirty with a very rare 118 diecast car made by Greenlight that I never thought in a million years I'd get a chance to own. And that is the Family Truckster from National Lampoon's Vacation. Ever since I started my diecast movie car collection, this car has been on my top 5 wish list since the beginning. It's one of the most recognizable, ridiculous, and beloved movie cars ever built. It's also one of the rarest diecasts out there. I've only ever seen it in a handful of YouTube videos and once in a blue moon on eBay, but never on Marketplace and definitely never at a diecast car show. I've wanted this particular diecast car for 3 good reasons. Number 1, it's from National Lampoon's Vacation, one of my all-time favorite movie franchises starring the one and only Chevy Chase. Number 2, it's incredibly rare. Greenlight released this in 2016 in very limited numbers, and since then, it's almost never surfaced on the secondhand market. And number 3, it's just got so much character. Unlike a lot of my other movie cars that are fast and flashy, this one's just hilariously over the top and full of personality. So one day while scrolling through a Canadian collector's diecast group on Facebook, there was the Family Truckster. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like that same jolt of adrenaline you get if you check your lottery ticket and realize you actually won. So I messaged the seller instantly. He replied saying it's $350. Now, part of me said just buy it instantly before it's too late, before it's gone. And the other part of me said, you know what? Maybe I should negotiate, and while I'm chatting with him, it doesn't hurt to ask. So I offered $250. And to my surprise, he actually said yes. Well, plus $25 shipping and handling, so really $275. To put things in perspective, you gotta understand that on eBay, this thing can go for like $500 or even more, if you can even find it. So once we exchanged information and I sent the payment and he confirmed that it was shipped with a tracking number, I was relieved but very nervous about the shipping because you just never know what happens in shipping. But it did arrive safe and sound through Canada Post. Very well packaged, which I really appreciated. And here it is. It made it safe and sound in its original box, which I'd like to talk about in a couple of minutes. There's a few things I'd like to mention. But for now, I just want to get to opening it because I'm very excited to see it. So this was a used car, meaning it was on display. The seller had it out of the box. So it's not going to be brand new. And there it is. Now normally artisan in these styrofoam kickboxes usually have paper. No paper on this one. And there's no screws from what I know. This should come right out. And there it is. The Family Truckster. So this is the clean version of what Greenlight labels the Queen Wagon Family Truckster. In its pea green paint, fake wood paneling, and of course those unmistakable 8 headlights. The detail is pretty spot on. You got the luggage rack, all of the badging. You can see you got the front emblem there. The interior, pretty nicely detailed. Now, as part of the Greenlight Artisan series, usually nothing opens on these cars, except in this case, there is one opening component, which is the hilariously positioned fuel cap door on the hood of the car, which we'll open right now. There we go, so you see that? That is the only opening thing on here, and we'll close it. Other than that, the doors don't open at all. Neither does the actual hood or the trunk. Pretty basic as far as functionality goes. Now, it is pretty mint as far as I can see, and I'm extremely happy that the front emblem is still intact. I was really worried about that. But unfortunately, there is a missing side mirror, which I was already aware of. That's the only thing that was wrong with it and missing. Apparently it's not uncommon for these to be missing. Even Neil from Retro Collectibles said his came the same way as well. But even with the missing side mirror, I couldn't be happier about finding this car. That is, until lightning struck again. Yeah, remember earlier when I said that lightning sometimes strikes twice? Well, I was at work on a short break and scrolling through Marketplace, as I usually do, and there it was again. But this time, the extremely rare, dirty version of the Family Truckster. And what was even more insane was that this one was listed for only $90. Now, luckily, I caught it fresh. It was only posted like 5 minutes earlier. But still, I had to do like a double take. I was like, could this be real? Maybe it was a typo. Maybe it was a smaller version, like a 164. But there it was, with all the luggage pieces on Edna and everything. See, in the movie, during the Griswold's road trip, the truckster gets absolutely trashed and covered in dirt. See, Greenlight actually made 3 versions of this car. There's the clean version with luggage on top, and the Holy Grail, the dirty version with the luggage and Aunt Edna on top. So going back to that Marketplace post, I didn't even message the guy, is this available? I just wanted to pay him ASAP. I was like, pay now, ask later. I was literally asking him like, where do I send the money? Those next few minutes waiting felt like hours. Then I saw those 3 little dots moving. He finally replied, okay. I literally never sent an e-transfer that fast in my entire life. I sent it and he confirmed. I couldn't believe it. I was in total disbelief, but it happened. Lightning had officially struck twice. Now, I wasn't going to be completely relieved until I actually had it in my hands. It actually took about 2 agonizing weeks before our schedules lined up. In fact, I even had to drive over an hour north to go pick it up. But when I finally did, I was ecstatic to see that indeed, it was the real deal. So here it is, folks. The mythical Holy Grail, Greenlight's 118 dirty Family Truckster. Now you'll notice right away that this one also isn't 100% perfect. It came with 2 scratches on the side wood panels, but hey, for $90, I'll take it. Like I said before, you almost never see any of these anywhere. This version in particular is so rare, it practically doesn't even exist online. So now that we have them both here, we can do a review and comparison of both of them. Now, I could start by saying both versions obviously share the same mold, weight, and build quality. They're practically the same car. Very solid, heavy, and well built. Like I mentioned before, there are no opening doors on these artisan models, and unfortunately, the front wheels are fixed straight. So no turning either. Now, I only have the box for the original clean version, but from what I researched, all the versions boxes look the same, all with the car's jump scene as the main image, with the luggage and Aunt Edna on the roof. So interestingly, if you were buying the clean version, seeing this picture might have been deceiving. You can also see the hubcaps are gone too, pretty much the dirty version on the box. The one thing I noticed though was that the description changes from box to box. So here it says just Family Truckster, whereas other versions say with luggage and Aunt Edna. What's interesting though is that in the clean version's styrofoam, you still have the cutouts for all of the luggage. So they basically also used the same styrofoam for all the versions. Check it out, see? Luggage fits right there. Luggage fits right there. So yeah. So again, back then if you were buying the clean version but saw the picture on the box with the dirt and the luggage on top. And then not only that, but then seeing that you've got cutouts for things that weren't in the box, you'd be like, which version am I getting? I would see that there would be a bit of confusion, but Greenlight did make 3 versions, and again, the only way you can tell is with the writing on the bottom here. So this one just says Family Truckster, which is the original clean version. Now, before we dive into the review and comparison of these 2 trucksters, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, because it'll help my channel create more videos just like this for you. Alright, so let's talk about how accurate these cars are. Now, I've said this before many times in my videos, where there's almost never a perfect, exact replica of a car that's on a film. You know, there's always going to be some discrepancies, there's always going to be some subtle or sometimes even bigger details that are missing from your diecast versus what you see in the film. So let's review those discrepancies in the Family Truckster. So for starters, the vacation plate should read Lou Glutz Motors, the dealership from the film. It should not say vacation. And the rear plate should be hanging slightly crooked on the dirty version, which here you can see clearly is straight. It would have been cool if it came with a dog leash that was tied to the bumper, but that might have been a little too cruel. The driver's side window should be broken from the drive-through scene. For a diecast, it would have been easy to just make it an open window. On the dirty version, the nose should technically be smashed after the jump, whereas here, it's obviously intact. But that's cool. It's very rare that you'll get a purposely dented or smashed diecast for effect. Now, Aunt Edna shouldn't actually be on the dirty version. As much as we appreciate her being here, she's only in the rainy scene that comes later on in the film, at which point the dirt is pretty much washed away. Now, speaking of luggage, the pieces aren't totally accurate, but the colors are pretty spot on, and the golf bag is pretty accurate as well. You know, the Griswolds do lose luggage along the way, and the pieces are usually in various positions throughout the film. So this is pretty much as close as it's going to get. Now let's look at what Greenlight did get right with the Family Truckster. Now the cars themselves are pretty accurate in terms of their shape, design, features, you know, the wood paneling, the lights, the luggage rack. Almost everything is pretty identical as it is in the film. They have the accurate green walls on the tires, which is a nice detail you'll notice in the film as well. The gas cap, like I mentioned earlier in the video, is the only feature that opens on the car, but is a very nice detail that in the film, Clark Griswold famously couldn't find when he was at the gas station. On the dirty version, the Honky Lips graffiti on the side is very accurate, but barely visible. But still, it's there. Now, I do have other dirty version cars in my collection, but I especially like what they did with this one. The dirt effect is really realistic, and I think they did an amazing job on it. Again, overall, with the exception of a few minor details, the cars are very accurate to the film. Now, in terms of the inside detail, unfortunately, we can't see very much as, again, the doors don't open. But from what we can see, it's pretty accurate. Yeah, I wish we can get in there, but we can't. So it looks good from far. So in comparing the two, there's really only 3 or 4 main differences between them. So number one, clearly the dirt on the dirty version is the main differentiating factor. Number two, the luggage on top with Aunt Edna. That's clearly something that is not on the clean version. There's also the fact that the dirty version doesn't have hubcaps, which you can clearly see the clean version has. And the last little detail is the Honky Lips graffiti on the side, which again, clearly on the clean version does not exist. All right, so here are my thoughts on the Family Truckster. First of all, I want to say thank you to Greenlight for making so many classic movie cars, but especially for making this one when no other brand would. These are definitely collectibles, and so happy to finally have them. The clean version is already a gem. The dirty version is definitely a diamond in the rough. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but I'm rolling with it. And since I have the clean version and the dirty version with luggage on top, I essentially have all three versions that Greenlight ever made, which is pretty cool. Actually, if you want to see something really cool, check this out. Let's take these luggage pieces and put them on the clean version. Just like that. And now without an Edna, you take this, put it just like that, and you add a 1982 Ferrari 308 red, just like the film, put them side by side, and boom, you got movie history in 1/18 scale. And this is exactly how I'm going to be displaying them, side by side in my cabinet. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and the story behind how I acquired both Family Trucksters and how I felt like lightning struck twice for me. So if you did like it, hit that like button and subscribe. And check out my Ferris Bueller Ferrari video next, another once in a lifetime find. Thanks for watching, and remember, even in diecast car collecting, Griswold level luck can happen. So happy hunting and see you next time.